This is disc number 11.
Kishan pulled me into the passage. I had enough time to recognize the floor was covered with sawdust when the snake moved. Its body dropped over the passage, sealing us into the black root of the giant world tree. Chapter 20. The Tests of the Four Houses. Fanindra's emerald eyes began to glow and provided enough light that Kishan could retrieve our flashlight. 5 feet beyond us was another tree trunk that appeared as solid as the one outside, a trunk within a trunk. Between the 2 trunks was a spiral stairway. He took my hand again before we started our climb. The stairs were wide enough that we could walk side by side, and deep enough that we could stop and rest or even sleep if we needed to. We ascended at a slow pace and rested frequently. It was hard to tell how high we'd climbed. After several hours, we came upon a door of sorts. It was yellow-orange and bumpy. A rough, woody stem was at the exact place where a knob should have been. I strung my bow and nocked an arrow, while Kishan readied his chakram. He stood to the side, took the handle and pushed the door slowly inward, while I slid in my foot and scanned for attackers. No one was in sight. The room was full of shelves that had been carved into the walls of the tree. Covering the shelves and the floors were hundreds of gourds of all shapes and sizes. Some were solid, some were hollowed out. Many of them had beautiful, elaborate designs and were lit from within by flickering candles. Some pumpkins were depicted with carvings far beyond anything I'd ever seen on Halloween. We walked past shelf after shelf admiring the designs. Some were painted and oiled until they shone like carved gems. Kishan reached out to touch one. "Wait! Don't touch anything yet. This is one of the tests. We need to figure out what to do. Hold on for a second while I look at Mr. Kadam's notes." Mr. Kadam had provided 3 pages of information on gourds. Kishan and I sat on the polished wood floor and read through them. I don't think they have anything to do with the American slave song "Follow the Drinkin' Gourd." I can't see how that could apply. It refers to the stars, the Big Dipper specifically, which guided American slaves to freedom as they journeyed on the Underground Railroad. I flipped a page. Here's a lot of stuff about where certain gourds originated and facts about how sailors sought seeds of certain types to grow them. There's a myth about gourd boats. I don't think that's it either. Kishan laughed.
How about this one? The one about gourds and fertility? Want to give it a try, Kels? I'm willing to make the sacrifice if you are.
I skimmed through the myth and narrowed my eyes at him while he laughed. In your dreams, maybe. Definitely skipping that one. I turned to another page. This one says to throw a gourd onto water to call up sea monsters and sea serpents. Not really needing one of those. What about this Chinese myth? It says that a young boy coming of age must choose the gourd that would guide his life. Each one contained something different. Some were dangerous, some not. One even had the elixir of eternal youth. Maybe we'll get lucky. Perhaps we should just pick one.
I think picking one is probably the right thing to do. But how do we know which one?
Not sure. I guess we just need to try. I'll go first. Keep your hand aimed at whatever comes out. Kishan picked up a plain bell-shaped gourd. Nothing happened. He shook it, threw it in the air, and thumped it against the wall. Still nothing.
I'm going to try breaking it.
He smashed it on the ground, and a pear rolled out. He snatched up the fruit and took a bite before I could warn him there might be something wrong with it. When he finally paid attention to me, the fruit was almost gone. He dismissed my warning and said it tasted fine. The broken gourd dissolved and melted into the floor. Okay, my turn. I picked up a round gourd painted with flowers, raised it above my head, and smashed it to the floor. A black, hissing snake emerged from the broken pieces. It coiled to strike and spat at my leg. Before I could raise my hand, I heard a metallic whirring. Kishan's chakram sank into the wooden floor at my feet, severing the snake's head. The serpent's body and the broken gourd melted into the floor. Your turn. Maybe it's a good idea to go with plain gourds. He chose a bottle-shaped gourd, which produced something that looked like milk. I cautioned him not to drink it because it might not be what it seemed. He agreed, but we found that if we didn't drink it, the next gourd wouldn't break. And the broken one with the milk inside wouldn't dissolve. He gulped down the milk, and we went on. I chose a huge white gourd and got moonlight. A small warty gourd produced sand. A tall, thin one made beautiful music. A thick, gray gourd that looked like a bottlenose dolphin splashed seawater on Kishan's leg. My next choice was a spoon-shaped one. When I broke it, a black mist emerged and headed for me. I darted away, but it followed and moved toward my mouth and nose. There was nothing Kishan could do. I breathed it in and began coughing. My vision blurred. I felt dizzy and staggered. Kishan caught me.
Kelsey, you're turning pale. How do you feel?
Not good. I think that one was disease.
Here. Lie down and rest. Maybe I can find a cure.
He began frantically breaking gourds while I watched. I shivered and started to sweat. A scorpion came out of the next one, and he stomped on it with his boot. He found a gourd with wind, one with a fish, and one that contained a small star that glowed so brightly we had to close our eyes until the light diminished and it sunk into the floor. Every time he found a liquid, he rushed it over to me and made me drink. I drank some fruit nectar, regular water, and some kind of bitter dark chocolate. I refused to drink one that smelled like rubbing alcohol, but I dabbed it on my skin so the gourd would disappear. The next three contained clouds, a giant tarantula, which he kicked into the corner of the room, and a ruby, which he pocketed. My vision was going black at this point, and Kishan was getting desperate. The next gourd he chose had some kind of pill. We debated if I should take it or not. I was really dizzy and weak, feverish and sweaty. Breathing was hard, and my heart was racing. I panicked, feeling sure that if we couldn't find something soon, I'd die. I chewed the pill and swallowed. It tasted like a kid's vitamin, and it didn't make me feel better. 2 more gourds contained cheese and a ring. He ate the cheese and slipped the ring on his finger. The next one had a white liquid. He was nervous. It could be a poison that killed me outright, or it could be my cure. Or it could be the elixir of eternal youth for all we knew. I waved him over. I'll drink it. Help me. He lifted my head and tilted the gourd, its contents spilling between my dry, cracked lips. The liquid trickled down my throat as I swallowed weakly. Immediately, I began to feel strength return to my limbs. More. He held the gourd steady as I drank. It tasted delicious, and gave me enough strength to take the gourd from him. Wrapping both hands around the bowl shape, I gulped down the rest in 2 big swallows. I felt stronger than I had before we'd come into the room.
You look much better, Kels. How do you feel?
I stood up. I feel good. Strong. Invincible, even. He let out a shaky breath.
Good.
I looked around with clear sight, almost better than clear. Hey, what's that? I pushed a few gourds out of the way and grabbed the handle of a large round gourd with a long top stem. It has a tiger carved on the outside. Try this one, Keyshawn. He took it from my hands and smashed it on the floor. Inside was a folded paper. It's like a fortune cookie. What does it say?
It says, "The hidden vessel shows the way."
The hidden vessel? Maybe it means a hidden gourd.
Pretty easy to hide a gourd in a room full of gourds, Kels.
Yeah. Let's look for out-of-the-way gourds that are in the back of the room or tucked in corners.